Macedonian Referendum faces low voter turnout. What were the results and what happens now?
A teacher in Africa is forced to step down over his sexuality.
And an earthquake and tsunami devastate an Indonesian island, killing hundreds.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Ryan Fox.
And I'm Chelsea Garby.
A 7.5 magnitude earthquake devastated an Indonesian island of Sulawesi on Friday morning. The country's worst since 2004, which is also followed by a tsunami hitting the island's north shore.
As rescue workers continue to search for survivors, the death toll has now risen to over 800 people. According to CNN, Palu, Indonesia saw the worst of the tsunami and earthquake, making it difficult for rescue crews to access the area.
Britain took a gamble when it voted to leave the European Union. This weekend, it's 6 months until Brexit Day, but the country's future is as uncertain now as it was the day after the referendum more than 2 years ago. Bianca Nobilo is inside a London bingo hall looking at the odds of this ending well.
Britain took a gamble when it chose to leave the European Union, staking its independence against a less certain future. And with only 6 months to go, there's all to play for. The referendum was 27 months ago, and the future is as uncertain now as it was then. One thing is for sure, both sides are running out of time. So much so, there's growing concern in Britain about a blind Brexit, paying over the £39 billion divorce bill to the EU without knowing exactly what Britain would get in return.
We don't really know what's going on with it. It feels just really up in the air.
If it's this messy, what is going to happen when we leave?
It's just crazy because nobody knows where we stand at the moment.
Bingo depends on probability and chance. Just like Brexit, you need to hit several targets to win. Theresa May says the UK must respect the result of the referendum. That means leaving the customs union, single market, stopping free movement and ending vast sums of money going to the EU. Both the UK and the EU have committed to avoiding a hard border in Northern Ireland, and the EU maintains that Brexit must respect the integrity of its single market. Get all three? Bingo. Brexit. And what are the chances of that? It's hard to see how Theresa May has the numbers to get any deal she's likely to get with the EU through Parliament. And if she can't get it through Parliament, or she can't get the deal in the first place, or she's replaced by a leadership contest or a general election, then...
all bets are off.
And even a second referendum could be on the table. Bianca Nobilo, CNN, London.
The New York Times published an article detailing the potential fallout of an uncontrolled EU exit. The article warns that the 2-year ordeal has shaped future British international relations for years to come, with a very real possibility of energy shortages and rising prices. It remains to be seen how the next 180 days will change the situation, but according to Ian Wright, the Director General of the Food and Drink Federation, it's looking very grisly.
This past Thursday, photographer and environmental activist Latoya Ruby Frazier came as part of the I Am Oz speaker series. She spoke to SUNY Oswego community about her photographic project Flint is Family and how we could all do more in our ways to make change happen in the world. Reporter Micah Pazinski has more.
It's been almost 4 years since contaminated water entered thousands of homes in Flint, Michigan. While measures were taken by the federal government to help those affected by the crisis, as well as the water being resourced back to the Detroit River, Latoya Ruby Frazier argues that the crisis is far from over for many in Flint. She came to Oswego to present her 2016 project entitled Flint is Family, consisting of black and white photography and short films that she made spending 5 months with 3 generations of Flint women in Flint, all still affected daily by this man-made environmental disaster. Her appearance was also tied in with SUNY Oswego's Grand Challenges Fresh Water for All 2-year campaign. Frazier did this by focusing solely on Shay Cobb, a Flint resident, and 3 generations of women within her family. While the project looks at their daily lives, it also serves as a way in which, through her presentation and body of artwork, we were able to see how the city government has failed the residents of Flint in the aftermath of the crisis. LaToya also stressed during her talk that we all have a duty to help people wherever and whenever we can through the talents that we all have, as she did in Flint, Michigan. A statement that Daniel Roberts, Associate Dean of Students and Interim Director of Campus Life at SUNY Oswego, echoed in his own way when asked what he hoped the campus community took away from Fraser's presentation.
We can feel a sense of sort of disconnect and a sense of helplessness sometimes when we see so many things that are going on around the world around us. We want to help, but we don't know where to start. I think with Ms. Fraser's talk tonight, she gave us that blueprint for where to start, how we can take our own skills and our own passions and transform it into something that isn't just meaningful to us, but something that's impactful for the community around us as well.
Micah Baczynski reporting.
This past April, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder announced the end of a free bottled water program supported by state and federal aid in Flint, claiming the water quality has been restored. However, many residents are not yet convinced the city's water is safe to drink and utilize once again.
Coming up later tonight, a teacher in Zimbabwe is forced to resign over his sexuality.
And more on the Indonesian earthquake.
Now, a quick weather update with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Liam Healy. Liam, how's it looking?
Well, currently we are seeing a lot happening across the United States, but coming up right after the break, we're going to be talking about the Indonesian earthquake, and not alone that, but also the hurricane recently downgraded to a tropical storm, Rosa, that will be bearing down in the desert Southwest, as well as, coming up later, a rare tropical system that formed in the Mediterranean Ocean. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'll be right back.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
New set.
New time.
News at 9.
News, Sunday through Thursday, only on WTOP 10. Welcome back. I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Liam Healy. Starting out with tonight, the devastating Indonesian earthquake, 7.5 magnitude on the Richter scale. It also produced a massive tsunami in the town of Palu. As you can see here, experts believe that it wasn't triggered by the earthquake itself, the tsunami, seeing on how it was a strike split type of earthquake that generally does not produce them. They believe a landslide may have originated here and pushed it into the inlet Palu region, which helped to enhance the tsunami waves in the area of Palu, leading to the devastation in the area. Changing gears a bit here, we're going over to the Mediterranean where a rare tropical system formed known as a metacane. Now, a Medicaid, it can produce up to Category 1 winds, which is upwards of 75 miles an hour. And that's exactly what this one did. This one was a relatively powerful storm. It impacted the coasts of not only Greece and Turkey, and it brought heavy rains. Upwards of 8 inches of rain fell over the past 3 days. Back in the U.S., we're seeing lots of active weather across the area. Down here in the southwest, we're seeing the southeast, we're seeing these heavy thunderstorms, as well as snow for the upper regions. They're seeing maybe upwards of 3 inches of snow by tomorrow afternoon. But Hurricane Rosa is our true concern for tonight. It was recently downgraded, to a tropical storm at 70 miles an hour, and it's heading north-northeast at 12 miles an hour. We're going to see it come through, and it's prompted these early flash flood and flash flood watches as far as Grand Junction, Colorado, and a flash flood warning for the Phoenix, Arizona area. As you can see, you have these heavy showers that are moving through the area, and you see that this is also induced by river flooding. We have these heavy showers that are moving through the area. They're going to continue. You have these more moving in as they're going to come through. These are going to be throughout the next couple days. You can see on our futurecast here, it makes its way through the Baja Peninsula and moves into the interior in Arizona, producing heavy bands of rain, just continually moving through the area. What these are going to continue to do is they're going to continue to come through. It's the desert Southwest. They don't see a lot of rain. Their infrastructure is not built for this. This could easily be some devastating flooding throughout the entire plateau region as we make it through the next couple days. Please do keep them in mind, as well as everyone devastated by the earthquakes. I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Liam Healy. We'll be right back with more international news after this break.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I
am an American.
I am an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I'm a lot more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities.
At Oswego is where I really found myself and became the person I am.
You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. A teacher at a boys' school in Zimbabwe's capital has stepped down due to death threats in relation to his sexuality. Neil Halvelmeyer, the deputy headmaster of St. John's College in Harare, came out to students in an assembly on September 21st after a local newspaper threatened to expose his sexuality. In a statement to CNN, Halvelmeyer says the paper felt his sexuality did not sit well with his position at a boys' school in a conservative country. Homosexuality is illegal in Zimbabwe. A parents' meeting was held on the 24th to discuss the matter, but according to a video circulating on social media, ended in chaos and fighting.
A Boeing 737 has landed in a sea lagoon on a remote island. A Boeing 737 has landed in a sea lagoon on a remote island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. According to CNN, Air Niugini was carrying 47 people when it missed the runway at the international airport on Reno, the main island of Chuuk State in Micronesia. The cause of the crash landing was due to increasingly poor weather conditions. Only minor injuries have been reported.
The death toll from a powerful earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia is rising as survivors struggle to pick up the pieces. Indonesian authorities now say that more than 800 people are dead, hundreds are injured, and more than 17,000 others are now homeless. Kim Hutcherson has a closer look at the rescue efforts and the destruction left behind.
Across Indonesia, a desperate scene after a deadly quake and tsunami left a widespread path of destruction. The death toll now tops more than 800 people, and Indonesian officials fear that number will likely climb even higher. That's because rescuers are desperately digging through the rubble, searching for survivors.
A baby boy in a drainage ditch, actually, was alive and was safe. Can't find the parents, but, managed to not perish in that.
On Friday, a 7.5 magnitude quake struck an Indonesian island and triggered a powerful tsunami. Cell phone video captured the moment the tsunami came ashore. Officials say the tsunami unleashed waves about 10 feet high and sent people running for higher ground. Indonesian authorities estimate that 2.4 million people were impacted by the disaster, and even the Red Cross is having a hard time reaching those who need it the most.
Roads are damaged, bridges are down, so it's hard enough to get into the major urban areas, but it's even more so difficult to get into the more remote, rural communities, rural areas, small towns that are farther inland.
Hundreds were severely injured, and thousands who survived are now homeless and struggling to find basics like food and water.
It's a very grueling, it's a very emotional experience for everybody that's involved, and it's still not finished.
I'm Kim Hutcherson reporting.
According to the U.S. Embassy in Jakarta, so far, there are no reports of U.S. citizens affected by the quake.
China's export orders shrink, hitting toward the weakening as the world's second-ranked economy. According to the International Monetary Fund, this year's economic growth is projected to decrease by 6.5% from 2017's 6.8%. President Trump added pressure on the nation by raising tariffs by $200 million. No negotiations will be made between the two countries. The United States will receive China's highest valued imports, including smartphones, industrial machinery, and medical technology.
The European nation of Macedonia had a low voter turnout at the polls for a name-changing referendum. The State Election Commission website stated on Sunday that voter turnout stood at just under 35%. Macedonians were voting on whether they were in favor of joining NATO and the EU, as well as whether to accept an agreement with Greece to change their name to the Republic of North Macedonia. According to a CNN report on the vote, there had been a turnout threshold of 50%, but the Prime Minister can trigger the name change regardless of the outcome. Coming up in sports is James Catato.
You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Who's ready for a lot of banter?
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
What up, it's your man Flo Rida, and right now you got it locked to WTOP.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit.
I get it.
I can do better. Just
Please, don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Looks like us and Oswego will get a... Details have been released on the Manhattan. Check 1, 2, check. Thanks, started.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Stay up to date with the news, events, weather, and sports.
Tune in every Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. only on WTOP 10.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm your sports anchor, James Cataldo, raring and excited to go for the first episode of the school year here at WTOP 10. We got a lot of sports to cover, so let's get right into it. After a long weekend of golf at the 2018 Ryder Cup, Team Europe was finally able to hoist the coveted trophy after beating a stacked United States side. Winless outings from newly resurged Tiger Woods and an aging Phil Mickelson were the biggest factors as Europe was able to capitalize on all-American mistakes. Led by Sergio Garcia and John Ram, Team Europe was able to put away USA 17.5 to 10.5 and possibly ending a Stars and Stripes Ryder Cup era. With 5 of the 12 golfers being at least 33 years of age, USA will have to look for rising stars like Brooks Koepka, Justin Thomas, and Bryson DeChambeau to fill the big shoes left by some legends of the game. David Wright received nothing but praise after playing what many think will be his final game in a Major League jersey. The Mets third baseman ended his career going 0 for 1 with a walk against the Miami Marlins this past Saturday and was bathing in cheers and thank you David chants for almost 3.5 minutes after walking off the diamond, emotionally, might I add. If it wasn't for the constant injury that Wright has to sustain for the majority of his 14-year career, some believe that the Met would have been a first-ballot Hall of Famer. But with a near 300 batting average and almost 1,000 RBIs, it's hard to believe the 7-time All-Star won't get a close look to make it into Cooperstown. Moving from the diamond to the gridiron, a pair of 2-1 teams squaring off in the windy city of Chicago today. The Bears would play host to Ryan Fitzpatrick, or Fitzmagic, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jumping right into it, and the main story of today was second-year QB Mitchell Trubisky, who the former UNC Tar Heel set a franchise record for the Bears today, throwing 6 touchdowns, 5 in the first half. You're watching the 39-yard bomb to Trey Burton to put the Bears up 7-0 early. And get used to watching Trubisky sling this pigskin because he was on fire. He finds Allen Robinson in the back of the end zone. That's 2 feet in. That is a legal catch in the NFL. Bears are just rolling at this point. And Trubisky again connecting with Tariq Cohen on the absolute bullet of a pass. And Cohen just basically walks into the end zone. Bears up 21-3. And if you started Mitchell Trubisky for fantasy this week, you were a very lucky individual. 43.5 fantasy points. Your friends and your coworkers will be very upset with you when you go into the office on Monday. He was 19 for 26, 354 yards for the NFL sophomore. And you see Taylor Gabriel getting the shovel pass, trotting into the end zone. Finally switching teams, Fitzmagic is officially dead. Ryan Fitzpatrick got subbed out for the FSU quarterback, Jameis Winston, who finally took his first snap of the season, picked off after Khalil Mack was able to tip the pass. And you can see Trubisky finishing things off on the close-up here, 48-10. The Bears would walk away with this one, and they would move to 3-1 on the season. We'll be right back after a couple of messages. Thank you for watching WTOP 10. We'll be right back.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Weather set.
New time.
News at 9.
News Sunday through Thursday only on WTOP 10.
So, welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Ryan Fox.
And I'm James Catados.
And I'm Chelsea Garby.
I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Liam Healy.
So this is our first night of international news here at WTOP 10. It's a new kind of news show we're trying here. And we're going to have some fun with it. It's a little different than the other nights of news that you guys are going to see throughout the week, but we think it's going to be a fun experience. What do you guys think?
I'm excited.
Very excited
Should be a good semester.
Absolutely. It's going to be every Sunday. It's a new night of news for us, that kind of thing. Anyways, James, there was a couple of sports things.
Yeah, so the Yankees and the Red Sox squared off for their last game of the series, and 200-win teams in the AL East, very stacked division. The Red Sox did end up walking away 10-2 there, but that's not the biggest story. There's actually going to be a 163rd game played for the tiebreakers here, and it should be very interesting. The Brewers and the Cubs, I believe, play.
As well as the Rockies and the Dodgers.
Yes.
There's two 163rd games.
And that means that Christian Yelich can not only win the NL MVP, but can get the Triple Crown as he is leading in everything except RBIs. He is 2 RBIs behind Javier Baez, who will also be playing for the Cubs, and it should be very interesting to see if Yelich can get that in the 163rd game.
It certainly is an interesting situation for the NL, for the Central and the West. Anyways, Liam, what do you got for us for a final weather check?
Well, we are going to take one more look at Arizona and see what is happening over the next 2 days. Through Tuesday, we're seeing upwards of 4 inches of rain in central Arizona as well as towards the southwest coast and across the Baja Peninsula. And another system will be moving into California over the next couple days. Be sure to tune in and keep track of that over the next week. So you can see it right here. You can see that big swath of heavy rain. It's going to create those dangerous flooding conditions across Arizona.
Alrighty, so that's our report for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for Excuse Me What right here on WTOP 10.
Thank you for watching. Have a great night, everyone.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Is How Are You Precious okay?
Take out the precious. It's way too cheesy.
Okay, yeah.
Just go,
sure.
hey, how are you?
Nope.
How's your day?
Yeah.
Don't be cheesy.
Yeah, I figured.
So, what'd she say?
She's still typing. I'm not sure. She never takes this long.
I wouldn't worry about it. Give it a few minutes.
Okay.